So, for the first time in over a decade, China is restricting the export of technology metals and rare earths. Gallium and germanium, two technology metals, were the first to be announced and have been on restriction since August of last year. So, today we'll take a look at how the market is reacting. China announced the export restrictions in July, and that then took effect from August the 1st, thus creating a challenging market for gallium and germanium for the remainder of 2023. Export figures and price movements since then have underscored the effects, if you will, of the new rules. In 2023, China's influence on the raw materials market was particularly evident in the case of gallium and germanium. So the People's Republic, the largest producer of these two technology metals, introduced restrictions that had a tangible impact on the exports and prices of the metals. So the export controls on gallium and germanium were announced in July and came into force in August. Since then, Chinese companies have been required to have a license from the Ministry of Commerce to export the metals. So the requirement pertains to dual use goods that can be used for military and civilian purposes. The measures were justified on the grounds of China's national security. So the export restrictions caused movement, obviously, in the markets. The price of gallium saw a predominantly downward trend until the middle of the year. The direction changed abruptly when the export restrictions were announced in July. Prices rose until October, when they reached their peak for the year. Exports initially came to a standstill after the export restrictions took effect due to long processing times for export licenses. Processing companies without gallium in stock had to rely on sort of just-in-time deliveries and overcome major difficulties. So to maintain the supply of raw material and avoid bottlenecks, these companies had to find alternative sources of supply on very short notice. So from October onwards, exports of gallium slowly resumed and prices fell again slightly. In December, prices exceeded the level seen in December 2022. Now, the story of germanium exports and prices is similar to that of gallium. So an upwards price spike was also observed in July, accompanied by a sharp rise in export volumes. Prices continued to rise in the next 2 months as exports collapsed. Germanium finally reached its price high in November and maintained it in December. So as a result, its price rose well above the previous year's level. Now, at the same time, the market slowly began to recover and export figures increased once again. Now, what do these current market developments mean for this year, 2024? So, in light of the drop in export volumes in recent months, for example, management consultants like Deloitte are forecasting bottlenecks in the supply of both germanium and gallium in 2024. So the limited or delayed export of raw materials will be accompanied by rising demand. For example, according to the German Mineral Resources Agency, demand for gallium for microchips could more than double in the coming years, increasing from, I think, 38 tons in 2018 to 79 tons in 2040. Gallium could also be in greater demand in the renewable energy and the LED technology sectors in the future. Demand for germanium for fiber optic cables is expected to rise from 59 tons in 2018 to 246 tons in 2040. So the rising demand for gallium and germanium could also influence future price trends. Now, you can find out how these are developing at any time from our regularly updated price charts on our website, Strategic Metals Invest. Thank you very much.